You probably heard of gamification. And my question for you is, what is the benefits of gamification for business education? Now, gamification, the idea of it is you make the activities that you are undertaking easier to understand and more engaging so people will spend more time and learn from it. Well, I'm going to give my personal opinion on this one. I believe that it is more engaging. I believe that it is certainly entertaining to undertake games as part of the process, but I rarely believe that it makes understanding the information or material easier. And in a way, I think it makes the understanding more superficial. In my humble opinion, learning is about diligent effort. You truly begin to acquire new information and you truly begin to break down your framework for how you analyze that information and how you process it and ultimately use it in the environment. It's diligent effort that requires pain, and not physical pain, but effort, discomfort. You have to ask the hard questions. You have to spend the time ingesting the information and trying to apply it in a scenario that is relevant to you, that will resonate, that will cause you to naturally recall it. Simply watching something that entertains you, it's fleeting. And as a matter of fact, the pretty pictures, the pretty images, all of those things that people introduce into the gamification or just into the visual presentation efforts, much research has been shown that that actually begins to take away from the recallability of it, that the long-term recallability of the information is lessened because people are entertained in the moment and they don't do the diligent effort or they don't undertake that painful work that is required to cognitively process it in a way that makes recallability easier or more likely in the future. And certainly in the way of thinking through things, gamification entertains you and exposes you to things, but it doesn't cause you to stick with a problem. It doesn't cause you to sit there and analyze the scenario and think about it in different ways so that you can come up with novel ideas and approaches to the scenario. As a matter of fact, it does the opposite. It keeps your introduction and exposure to it very cursory in nature. So, there's my opinion. I think that gamification can be good for individuals who just want a base level of exposure to stuff, but really don't have to know it. They just have to be aware that it exists out there and what it is and things of that nature and how it could be applied. But if you actually need to know something, if you actually need recall so that you can handle that situation or scenario that requires that information at some point in time in the future, then you are going to have to put in the diligent effort to memorize things, to commit it to memory, and then to do the deeper cognitive work of connecting those individual bits of information or concepts to other bits of information and concepts so that you can wield it to ultimately apply to situations and scenarios in the future. Because once again, that is related to creativity as well. The most creative individuals you'll find in society are individuals who understand a situation or scenario extraordinarily well so that they can see minute differences and act upon that to create new products or services or thought processes for dealing with that situation because they understand what is there so well, they're easily able to examine alternative ways of doing or thinking about things, and that leads to novelty and innovation. Individuals who only have cursory knowledge of things, they're not just popping up with brilliant ideas like the light bulb says, well, this would work, because ultimately, if they don't have a base understanding of the way things happen or are carried out or the origins or justification behind something to start with, it doesn't leave room for innovating or coming up with novel ideas. So, with that being said, my personal opinion is that gamification has its uses, but particularly in the field of education, its use has significant limits. So, You probably have opinions on this as well. If you do, please jump down in the forum. Want to hear them? Jump into the forums on thebusinessprofessor.com and get the conversation started there. But regardless, I hope to see you around the platform sometime soon. Until then, take care.